Today I'm taking on my biggest challenge yet, building the inside out headquarters in just 3 hours. Plus I'll be recreating some of the most iconic scenes, like the ice skating rink, subconscious stream, and coach's office containing the infamous journal. Let the challenge begin. Starting off with the minifigure selection, we've got Riley Anderson herself, her parents, her friends Grace and Bree, Val Ortiz, and the coach. And since this video is based off the second movie, there's quite a few emotions including joy, sadness, disgust, fear, anger, ennui, nostalgia, embarrassment, and anxiety. Now here's the game plan. The headquarters is going to be 32 by 32 studs in size, featuring many details from the control console to the core memories, and even the mind manuals. Let's get right into it. To kick things off, I created the base using macaroni bricks and curve plates, giving us some room for the console, where I represented the hundreds of buttons and switches, using these printed 1x2 tiles, complete with a yellow stud to represent the puberty alarm. And I also added levers which can be used by some of the emotions. Now this headquarters wouldn't be complete without couches, so I made sure to include some bright pink and red couches, so figures like ennui and disgust can chill. Up next is the core memories, the centerpiece of the headquarters where Riley's most valuable memories are stored. So I use these yellow bionicle eyepieces to represent the 4 most important memories, which I'll get to later on. Before we dive into the build, I first need to create a solid base for all of the different sections, like the wall of memories and a cozy sleeping area. So I gathered a bunch of pink and purple pieces and started building, using some wedge plates to represent the cool pattern in the center, and finished it off by adding on the core memories, which helps bring the headquarters to life. With the base finally completed, we can delve into the first sections like the wall of memories and the bookshelf full of mind manuals. For me, the coolest thing about the headquarters has got to be the massive wall full of different memories, so I wanted to include as many as possible. I decided to go with a cascading design and built up their memories using some transparent pieces to represent each of Riley's emotions, with yellow representing joy, green for disgust, blue for sadness, and red for anger. And I may or may not have connected the memories using an illegal building technique. One of the funniest scenes from the first movie is where Joy tries to get rid of sadness by making her read all of the boring mind manuals, so I had to recreate that within this build. Using a sideways building technique, I created the bookshelf with one of the manuals for sadness to read, and some cool references up top with anger's lava lamp. Another great scene is where the construction workers break in, so I added a bunch of tools and wooden planks to recreate the chaos. Since this is a headquarters, the emotions have got to have somewhere to sleep and store their stuff, so I think that's a perfect way to use this space. For the lockers I used some purple bricks and slopes, with round tiles to represent each of the original 5 emotions. Then built up the first level including a doorway so they can get to their lockers, and a staircase which uses a cool building technique to achieve a spiral effect. Since my favourite emotions are anger and joy, and I don't have much space up on the second story, why not make a bed for both of them? I'm sure the others can find somewhere else to sleep, right? Anyways, Anger's quite a fiery person, so his bedroom has a red and orange colour scheme, complete with a punching bag and a baseball bat, just in case he loses his temper. Whereas on the other side, Joy is quite a happy and optimistic person, so she's got a pink and green bedroom, with a lamp and some star and diamond decorations. I also added a little balcony so they don't accidentally fall off. Last but not least, let's add the back windows to complete the headquarters. After 2.5 hours of building, it's finally complete. You can have anger controlling the console, ennui chilling on the couch as always, sadness still going through the piles of manuals, and joy who's just having a good time. To be honest, this came out way better than I expected, and there's still so much to do in this video, so let's get to it. For this next build, I thought it would be cool to recreate the yellow family car, where Riley and her friends travel to the hockey camp. So I designed the build with a yellow and black colour scheme, and used a sideways building technique for the windows. Even though it's quite compact, I still managed to fit in a luxurious interior. Up front there's a seat for the driver, a steering wheel, gear stick, a speedometer, and even a radio so Riley can play some songs. There's one slight problem. There's 5 figures and only 4 seats, so it looks like we'll just have to stuff one of Riley's friends in the back. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out, especially since this was my first time trying to design a car. Now that Riley and her friends have their ride, it's time to travel to the skating rink. Only problem is, we haven't built that yet. So without further ado, let's start with the viewing area, where minifigures can gather to watch the ice hockey games play out. Since the Firehawks practice here, I wanted to use an orange and red colour scheme, so I included quite a few red seats, with some black armrests to make it extra fancy, then moved over to the entrance, including a flashlight and wrench for emergencies, and topped it off with a cool pattern to represent the Firehawks. Just found that the seating area has a minor design flaw. It turns out you can't actually place minifigures by the entrance, but we're just gonna ignore that. With the amount of space left, I already know this rink is going to be absolutely massive. Let's start with the base, which uses quite a few white tiles to represent the ice. And I also created the orange center circle where the game begins. Using a bunch of these glass pieces, I built up the walls of the rink and added opening doors on each side so players can enter. Now we can recreate a bunch of the scenes from the movie. First up is the scene where Riley was training hard for the game, so she can try and become a Firehawk. Next we have another key scene where she chose Valor over her friends, because she just wanted to be more popular. Like, that's not cool. Up next we've got the subconscious stream. This was one of my favourite parts of the movie because of all the giant food items, which I thought would be really cool to build in Lego. Starting off with the base, using some dark pink pieces to create the land, and I had to buy hundreds of these transparent purple plates to create the flowing purple stream. And to add some depth, I added a couple studs to represent some bubbles. For the giant Lego food items, I wanted to create something vibrant and appealing, so I had to go with fast food. Let's start off with this massive burger. It's got quite a few layers, including a patty, cheese, tomatoes, pickles, some mayonnaise and even some lettuce. And everything's perfectly aligned so you can tell it's not from McDonald's. To be honest, I absolutely love the design of this burger. 1,000 likes and I'll let Anger have it. Now everyone loves pizza, so why not create a giant Lego pizza slice, which can fit all of the emotions. Let's start off with the dough, creating a nice base with a thick crust. Then added a thick layer of cheese and topped it off with plenty of pepperoni. Since I can't fit any more giant food, I filled up the rest of the space with some cookies, ice cream, fruit and even a donut. Now we can have all of the emotions hop on the pizza, so they can travel downstream and stop anxiety from taking over the headquarters. Since Coach's diary is such an important part of the movie, I decided to recreate Coach's office for the final build. We don't really see the interior of the office that much, so I based the colour scheme on the corridors, which are mostly sand green, with some white and orange accents. I also wanted to try and make the most of the space, by adding details such as her trophy collection, an inspirational poster which we can see in the movie, a memo board and some hockey sticks hanging up. Her desk is also quite crowded, so I tried adding as much as possible. There's a box full of paperwork, a phone, a small desk plant, a pink lamp and even a pizza, which doesn't compare to the massive slice of pizza from earlier. Another feature is that you can open up her diary and find out what the coach really thinks about Riley. Let's hope she's not caught by the security guard. I had a blast recreating Inside Out in Lego. I think the headquarters turned out amazingly well, and the other builds such as the ice skating rink and subconscious stream look great. If you enjoyed this build, make sure to like, subscribe and comment below with your favourite scene from Inside Out 2, and I'll see you in the next one.